Hey everyone, and welcome back to Don't Open That Door. I'm Justin, and I'm an aspiring perfume model.
I'm Nico, and honestly, this movie just really makes me thankful and grateful for showers.
I'm Dan, and I am the photographer of said aspiring perfume model.
Whoa,
Said
whoa there.
what?
A little bit of self-insert energy, huh? But today, we are discussing C.H.U.D. So this was directed by Douglas Cheek, starring John Hurd as George Cooper, Christopher Curry as Captain Bosch, Daniel Stern as AJ, or the Rev, Kim Greist as Lauren Daniels, and George Martin, no RR, as Wilson. So we open with a woman on a walk with her dogs in the wee early hours of the morning, and I meant dogs, singular. She is then attacked and killed by a mysterious creature that emerges from a manhole cover. Afterwards, we're introduced to George Cooper, a photographer taking pictures involving homeless New Yorkers who live underground. He's kind of doing like a special photography project. And Captain Bosch, a policeman who's investigating the mysterious disappearances that have plagued his district. So a rather intriguing setup, tantalizing even. But Nico, play with it a little bit. What's going on here?
So, at this point, Bosch decides to visit AJ, who's a man who is running a soup kitchen for the homeless. AJ tells Bosch that all of his regulars who live in the underground have just vanished, and they regularly come to see him every single day, so he knows this is weird. Bosch lets him know that his wife is also missing, and AJ lets him know then that he feels like it's some kind of government cover-up. He's got a hunch. And he takes Bosch through a hole in a basement into the sewers where they find Geiger counters and government equipment. Bosch takes this to his superiors, and Wilson, a man working for the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the NRC. So from here, Bosch's superiors decide to let him in on the fact that the sewers are currently filled with chuds, cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers, and the group even find a body. They send a team into the sewers, but they're massacred, even though there's dudes equipped like to the fucking nines with flamethrowers, which is kind of wild when you think about it. And from here, Wilson decides that they just gotta seal up the sewers and gas the chuds. Unfortunately, both AJ and George are in the sewers, and they discover that the chuds are actually homeless people who have been irradiated by the radioactive waste that Wilson and his ilk at the NRC have been storing under the city.
Those dastards. Dan, how does this one end?
Well, now Wilson begins his plan to gas the chuds, and the creatures go to the surface and begin to attack. AJ and George manage to contact Bosch, and he confronts Wilson. With his plan exposed, Wilson tries to kill AJ, George, and Bosch, but AJ shoots him, and he dies in a fire explosion, but not before Bosch actually gets shot himself, too. Not terminally, but just shot. So the movie ends with the fate of the chuds up in the air, and Captain Bosch continually repeating, "I got shot." The end.
Is he saying I got shot or nice shot?
I don't remember. I thought it was I got shot.
I thought he was saying both.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Honestly, it could have been either.
Knows?
Okay.
I
So
got shot.
nice shot. But anyways, let's go ahead now and break down the technicals, shall we? So how does this movie look? And Dan, I want you to take the first swing at this one. How's it look?
So this one looks... Parts of it I thought looked cool. Parts of it were a little goofy. It definitely, you can tell, is a movie from the 80s that didn't have a major budget. And sometimes the chuds just look like dudes running around with masks on. But then other times, there was some kind of cool looking stuff. We definitely see a lot of decapitated bodies or severed bodies, which I thought was like kind of cool. And there's one time where a character chops off a chud's head, and that was pretty comical. Yeah, so overall, it's sort of a combination to me of looking kind of good and looking kind of B-movie not good.
Yeah, I think the movie did a really good job of masking a lot of its limitations. A lot of the scenes we see of the Chuds are when they're very zoomed in, so you can't really see everything about the Chud, and you see a lot of the teeth, a lot of the violence is kind of piecemeal, and for good reason, because when they zoom out and show the Chuds, it looks like a bunch of dudes just like standing around wearing masks. And to kind of follow up on the scene Dan was talking about, the scene where one of the characters, Laura, chops off a Chud's head makes me crack up because the neck just extends super long on that Chud. And I was like, oh, bro, you're asking to get decapitated.
Mm-hmm.
And then she chops out his head.
Doesn't she do it by like tossing the sword at him too? Really fucking like limply?
I forget if she does that or if she does like a very weak like slash or something. But the point is, when the Chud gets his head cut off, the Chuds have like glowing eyes. And his eyes start to go out like the batteries in a dying flashlight, like how that looks. And I was like, bruh, really? He ran out of like power and now the Chud is dead? Come on, son. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Oh, sorry. And before I get to you, Nico, one last thing I will say to your earlier point. This movie was so grimy, it made me want to take a shower.
Yeah.
Because this movie is filthy. They did a good job about making it feel filthy.
Like, this is a movie where they spend a fairly decent amount of time in underground or like sewer areas, and it shows. It's just grimy. Like,
what'd you think about the above ground setting? How did you feel about that?
I liked it. I really thought that the movie had a lot of different sort of set pieces that it used well. It wasn't very static. And towards that end, I think the pacing of the movie was one of its strengths for sure, just because we were pretty constantly seeing we were given fresh scenes with new sets fairly regularly, I would say. The only other thing that I could say about the visuals is I actually like the way the Chuds look. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I thought they looked kind of cool and definitely a little creepy for sure with their little gopher teeth or whatever the first one has.
I mean, that's true. And apparently they do also, well, I'll save that because I keep wanting to get to it, but I'll save that for later. I'm too excited. So sound, auditory bites as it was. Dan, how'd you feel about this one? Me personally, I dug a lot of the audio, actually. I like the little theme that plays out at the end. Once or twice in the movie, they toss in some synth sounds, and I like the synth in this. But aside from that, those are kind of the standouts and the highlights for me. I also thought that the sounds of the Chuds, the vocalizations, like, I like that. I like that. But I'm interested to see your take.
I actually like the score quite a bit. Like you said, there's a lot of cool synth kind of parts. There's some cool, like, a really effective use of drones. I thought was really cool. And I looked up the guy who scored the film, the composer, is David Hughes, also known for his work on Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Guns, or Barrels, rather.
Oh, really?
No shit.
And though I don't think he composed this, but he did work in the music department for another movie we watched, Howl, which I thought was kind of cool. Though again, I don't think he actually composed it, but I actually really dug it, and I may or may not try to sample a couple of the songs.
Yo, you totally should. That'd be dope as hell.
Clear your samples, boys and girls.
Yeah, that would be the hard part.
Nico, how about you? What'd you feel in terms of the sounds?
I liked all sorts of the sounds that were in this. The orchestration was really fun with all the synths and drum machines and stuff that were going on. It was fun, and it had character. This is something that, like we've said a couple times already, you can tell it comes from the 80s. This feels like an 80s soundtrack, but in a really fun way, not in an overdone, cheesy way. Like, there's some actual really interesting just arrangements and different, like Dan was saying, usage of just drones and stuff and the motifs. It makes it fun.
Agreed. Now, kicking off our discussion here, I want to talk about the Chuds. What do you think, their, I don't want to say power is, but you think they're stronger than the average person, maybe? How do you feel about that? And how do you feel about their tactic? They like pop up from the sewers, they grab somebody and drag them back down, essentially. How'd you guys feel about that? How'd you like that about them?
I mean, I liked it well enough. It kind of kept a mystery to them for a while. As the viewer, we only get to see maybe a hand or part of an arm or something every once in a while. So, and then maybe close up on their face or something, but we don't really get to see the full chud for a while.
He was
But
like half
kinda
chud at
like
a
that.
time.
Yeah, a little bit of half chud. But I thought it was kind of cool. And I mean, as to their powers, I guess they're just like, I don't quite want to say superhuman strength because it's not like they're over here like, I don't know, pushing buildings over and shit. But like, they definitely like bust through walls and things that I don't think a normal person could do unless you're like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something. But yeah, super strength.
And they also give you cancer.
Yeah.
The Geiger counter shit. So, Nico, I want your take on a chud real quick. The one that in particular pursues George's wife, Laura. How do you feel about that one?
Yeah, the sudden romance arc that they stuck in the movie was just wild to me.
I was actually going to ask that, and you brought it up. We may as well discuss that. How'd you feel about that, just generally speaking? There was like a little part about, are we going to have a baby?
Yeah.
We're going to have a baby. I'm like, this has nothing to do with the chuds.
Literally
This has
nothing.
nothing.
Like, I thought I thought that she was cute. Fucking, oh God, what was her name? Lauren. Yeah. I thought her character was really fun.
Oh,
and
shit, I was calling her Laura. Her name's Lauren.
Yeah.
Lauren.
Yeah, big oof. I thought that she was a fun character, and just one of the big things I really like about this movie is I think that the writing and the acting is honestly really fucking solid, even though this is like kind of a B movie. I think that it has just a really compelling narrative driven by compelling actors, and regardless of genre, that's a good thing to see, I think, unless you're just, I don't know, wrong about having fun. Which you have been before, Justin. You have been on record wrong about having fun before.
I mean, listen,
Dan can confirm.
fun is all right, but chud is better. And one thing that I wanted to talk about real quick about the monsters that didn't make much sense to me was there's a scene where they assemble like a squad of dudes to go down to the sewers and like handle them. And these guys got like flamethrowers and everything else. And the chuds can apparently like take flamethrowers to the face and just keep going. But Laura manages to defeat one fairly easily with a sharp weapon. So
She got the cutlass, bro.
I want to know though. And listen, but no, she did not have a cutlass. If she had a cutlass, it would have been much more effective. When you think about it.
I don't know. This one was pretty effective already.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But
She
like
was
a
1 for
cutlass,
1.
you just use to like to, anyways, let me not go into it. But the point being is this. How do you think the chud managed to get past a squad of dudes with flamethrowers? That was the one thing that took it out for me, personally.
They're resistant to fire damage and weak to slashing damage.
Okay, I guess there we got it. That's fair enough. That is
it's a
fair
fucking
enough.
shadow in Persona 3. you got to make sure you don't all-out attack it with the wrong layout or you're just fucked.
As soon as they ran into the chud,
That soundtrack fucking
Oh, yeah.
whips.
so
Yeah, it does.
I guess there's that, and that solves that problem. So moving on, we've talked a couple times about this being a B, no, not B-E-E, but B movie.
You're like jazz?
This has kind of developed a cult following over the years, and similar to kind of the path it almost feels like of a lot of cult movies, this one got pretty panned by a lot of critics. A lot of people didn't like it so much when it first dropped, but since then it's kind of built up a little bit of a following. Dan, what about this movie is so endearing to you that you think it developed a cult following?
Honestly, I find the chuds kind of endearing.
They're nice little chuds.
I just think
They're nice little chuds.
Yeah, they are. And they're good, to me, a good mix of like kind of goofy, but kind of scary at times. I think Nico kind of mentioned before, sometimes they do have some kind of scary moments. And I like that. I think there's parts of the story that are a little questionable or like kind of goofy. Like there's a shower scene.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, I don't know what went on there.
And
I'm not gonna fucking
yeah, like
lie.
something like bubbles up from the drain, and then it gets clogged, and they never explain like exactly why, but she grabs like a coat hanger to like shove it down there to like unclog it. And as soon as she shoves it down there, just blood
fucking
spurts
like Pennywise
everywhere.
shows up or some shit.
Scene cut, and then the next scene, she's just like acting like nothing ever fucking happened.
Okay,
And
yeah,
also,
I forgot about that.
when the blood spurts everywhere, the fucking sound effect is like, I don't know if you've ever been on like TikTok and like have that voice effect that's just like crazy like phaser. So it's just like
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like I audibly laughed when that happened.
Oh, I did too, because that just seemed like a massive like fuck you to her.
Yeah.
Because here we go, like the one character actively trying to take a shower, and nope, you just got chutted. Because that doesn't even make any sense when you think about pipes and how like pipes work.
No,
like,
not at all.
That doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
So I don't know.
And we here at
I
DOTD, we know how to work the pipe. We know how to work the pipes, you know. We know about pipes and how they work.
I used to work in plumbing, so yeah.
I guess I'm proficient in the use thereof. You're correct.
The glares that
So-
my two co-hosts just gave me just then. My gosh.
That wasn't a glare, bro. I can't read the font when it's so tiny on my screen because I'm used to something bigger. You feel me?
Bitch, do you see subtitles when I speak?
Oh, you over here, you used to something bigger, Josh?
Bruh.
What? What kind of hacks are you living life on?
What you mean by it? Moving on, Nico. Why is this a cult classic?
I think it's a cult classic because it's got a lot of heart. The characters are fun and believable, even when they are being kind of a bit melodramatic caricatures of some people, like fucking George Martin as the scoundrel evil businessman looks and acts like every scoundrel evil businessman you've ever seen before, like to a T. And it's it's almost comical to the point, but that is how capitalism crumbles, I guess. But no, I think that this is a cult because it has a lot of heart, really, and the soundtrack kind of fucking whips.
So it's funny because when I saw him, well, first I was gonna reply to you. He's not a businessman. He's a business man.
And that's on commas, baby.
I thought he was a government person. No.
Oh, yeah, no, but he was saying they had some sort of contract to move the waste out of there, but they couldn't because of like some irrelevant plot point because
Well, that was
all
all mass lies, bro. That was all mass lies.
No. I know. I'm just saying yes, you are correct.
But yeah. So I also wanted to, from my perspective, say that I agree with what you said. I think there's a lot of heart involved in this one. And another thing that I definitely want to also bring up is, for me, I feel like this movie also has just that very almost pulpy feel to it.
Yeah.
Like, this is totally something that I could read in like one of those, like classic fiction books. It just feels that way. Like, it has that feeling. It is something that's readily accessible. It's super easy. The plot is not anything crazy. It's literally just like, bro, would you believe there's some shit going on down here? Oh shit, you're right. Yep. And like, that's basically how it goes.
The plot is basically, damn, we really out here, fam.
I am a little bit disappointed in the fact that, personally, I feel like someone was gonna like put a bunch of gas in the sewers of New York. First off, that's not gonna fucking work.
No.
Like,
Nope.
I don't know why they thought that plan was gonna work, because very clearly, do you remember how they get to the sewers? Do you remember how they do that?
No.
They go through, they go to Chambers Street.
Well, they specifically go through the subway, right? They go through the
Yeah.
subway station.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they were talking about how they blocked up the manholes. I'm like, bitch, like the gas is gonna escape through all the fucking subway stations. What the hell?
Oh, but they're going to turn off all the subways, remember?
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
You got
right.
me there.
They're only
Yeah,
going to
okay.
have Quiznos.
I want to ask real quick, of the kind of trinity of characters that we've got presented for us, we've got AJ, the guy who really cares for the homeless, and he's just trying to protect his neighborhood. We've got George, somebody who also seems to care for the homeless. He's taking pictures in what seems to be an attempt to bring attention to, you know, a lot of the issues they face. And then you've got Captain Bosch, who's kind of, you know, like a little bit of a hard-boiled detective trying to find out what happened to his wife. Of the three, first answer this. Which of us on the podcast, which character are we most like? And then, who is your favorite character? So, who do you think would be Dan? Who do you think Dan would be in this one? See, I'm thinking Dan is the photographer.
Okay.
Because I feel like dude was pretty much, he was definitely really laid back.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Dan would definitely pick up his phone. Like, there's a part where George just trolls relentlessly when this one dude's like, dude, I need your help. Please, I need to publish this article. Give me a picture. And George is just like, no. And just like trolls him hard. But
Yeah,
that's
he's
why
also
I
kind
think,
of a prick early in the movie when he's on set with the fucking perfume models and shit.
he's like, fuck this place. Your perfume smells like shit. Fuck you, you capitalist swine. Well, maybe it needs to be Nico.
Yeah.
Upon second viewing. Here.
Shit. Okay. Damn.
You know, yeah, actually, I'm going to put that as Nico. I'm going to put that as Nico.
Oh, well, okay.
Now we're going to top that with the cherry of irony because George obviously knocks up his girlfriend / wife. And I don't know if that's something, you know,
Significant other.
so to speak. So, yeah. But so we've determined that Nico photographer. Dan, are you the hard-boiled detective, do you think? Or you think you're more so the guy running the shelter?
I guess the detective.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. A combination of both of them, I feel like, really.
All right. Combination KFC Pizza Hut was really good.
Yeah.
Or shit. It's not KFC Pizza Hut. KFC Taco Bell.
Yeah.
But I remember Pizza Hut being in combination with something else too.
I think.
Yeah, no,
I feel
there was the triplicate in the rare times. They had the Holy Trinity of the three.
Maybe that's what I'm remembering there. All right, well, fair enough. Either way, I'll be the dude running the shelter looking out for the average man. True enough. So, who's your favorite of the three, though? I gotta ask.
I think my favorite was probably Bosch, just because he gave such a compelling performance, and I feel for him even more now after our conversation of, hey, no one tell this guy about his dead wife right here.
True. They did kind of call him out
right
pretty
there.
harsh.
What?
That's true. Dan, who's your favorite character?
I think Bosch was as well. Mostly because I thought the other two were dumb. I liked the the performance and everything, but I don't know. I thought like AJ just said and did some really dumb things, and then like Nico said, I kind of thought the photographer was kind of a prick. So and I generally liked Bosch too. I thought he was a good guy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was gonna say shock and awe, but my favorite character was also Bosch, just because I feel like Bosch saw a problem and like actually did something about it. Like he was like, yo, like this can't go on. And like, he wasn't afraid to like confront people. Now they did like totally teeth out George's pictures. Like, let's not mistake that there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They literally just break into man's house and steal his shit.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know if I just missed this, but I wasn't even sure how they got there. Like, I don't think either of them knew him.
They
just,
knew
showed
because he had published photos before about
Oh, that's right.
about the people living underground. So they knew like, hey, like this is where he lives and he is a photographer. So they went to talk to him because he was also the dude who bailed out the woman, remember?
Right, I remember that part. I just remember watching it and Bosch being like, "Oh yeah, we got to go see the director of the NRC or the captain or who, I can't remember who, with the NRC guy." And then they show up at George's house and bust in, and I was like, "What?" Huh? I probably missed.
This is his house. We're gonna fuck him up.
Yeah.
True. Now, I want to ask real quick. Do you think that something like this could happen in real life? Do you think that, would it surprise you if it was like, oh shit, the government's been dumping waste somewhere they shouldn't be, and as a result, something pretty fucking bad has happened? Do you see this potentially happening IRL? Nico-san?
I mean, I see the government mishandling shit absolutely happening, but I think this is largely the world of fictitious horror movies because nuclear is largely very safe.
I mean, that might be the case, but the waste though, the waste product.
I mean, hey, you got to learn how to handle the waste. That's all I'm saying.
Dan, how about you?
I kind of agree with Nico. I wouldn't put it past our government to do some dumb shit, but I also don't think it would play out like this movie did at all. I think that cover-ups like this either would be way more effective or way less effective.
See, personally, I could totally see like, the government dumping some waste in like an unknown like pool, and then all of a sudden fucking Godzilla comes out that bitch. So
that's the dream, man. That's the fucking dream.
I guess maybe not chuds. I don't see people turning into chuds, but I definitely could see some horrific thing happening with waste. And I think in general, just like you can't trust the government being a really big theme of this movie. Any other ones that you see?
Hmm.
I ain't gonna lie, it's not like this one was swimming with deep content here.
There is one, I think, more salient sort of like sub-theme in so far as I like that there is a lot of representation of homeless folks and people who are working with those communities. So, I mean, that's a shout.
I mean, that is good for certain.
I like that one scene when the reporter guy is with George and the reporter guy has a gun and George is like, "Why do you have a gun?" And the reporter is like, "Well, the homeless guy, Victor, seems to know what's going on and he wanted a gun. So fuck it, I'm going to have a gun." Like, yeah, you're damn right.
Yeah, you goddamn right. Like, first off, hell yeah, bro. If I was suspecting something was up, yeah, I'm definitely going to come strapped. You kidding me?
Fuck yeah.
For
sure. Speaking of, it's time for the what would you do? So we've already determined if we're going down that sewer, we're going strapped.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. The three of us, you know what I mean? Like, we about to investigate some chuds. So let's say we get to that meeting with Wilson and he's like, "Yo, I'm going to keep it real with you." It has some like cannibal, humanoid underground dwellers.
Why does that sound like a line from an M bar? Cannibal human underground dweller.
Either that or Aesop Rock.
Cannibal animal
Aesop Rock.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, him too. It's got the same sort of low as that, like
lyrical, miracle, spiritual individual.
Yeah, it's like, I looked around, who was that in my cellar? Cannibal humanoid underground dweller.
Yeah,
but yeah,
fucking
like,
right,
I'm telling you, bro. So, the point being though is, do you think that we would, after hearing that, what would your reaction be? Like, what would you do? Would you like try and box up Wilson, or what would you do?
I mean, if presented with the opportunity, hell yeah. Just like, hey, here's the big bad. Just put him right in front of me. Yeah, let's go.
Eat shit, Wilson.
Yeah.
What about when the plan hits of like, hey, we're going to gas them all. And let's say like we'd been down in the sewer, so we saw what was actually, affectating the chuds and whatnot. And then we got back up and he's over here trying to murk us. Like, would you definitely murk him back 100%?
Fuck yeah.
First I would pants him, then I would murk him.
Now, question being here, the movie kind of ends on a real weird note because like the chuds are most definitely not all dead. So
nope.
What would your next step be? When the movie's done, what would the very next thing you do be? If you could do one thing, what would the very next thing you do be?
I would befriend one and name him Bud and see what kind of hijinks we could get up to in the sequel.
Wow. Dan, how about you?
I feel like I would like grab a chud, capture it, and then like try to study it and see what's going on, see if they
Post
can
it
be
to the gram.
Unchudded.
See what TikTok makes of it.
De-chudded.
My personal thing would be I would immediately walk around the corner and go back to the media like, "Yo, I got some crazy shit to tell y'all." And then I'd be like, "Yo, check in the sewers right now. Like, it has all the radioactivity right down there. You can go see for yourself."
Yeah.
And like that would be it. I'd be like, "Bro, because there's no way they're all dead. Like, at least go check the one in my wife's apartment. Like, it should still be there." So for sure, that's what I would say. That's what I would do. But now I want to get you guys' take on this. It's time for the critic review. Now, real quick, just on your initial impression when you watched this film, where do you think it ranks from the critics? Where do you think this one is at? Dan, we'll start with you.
I'm going to say like right around the even 50-ish kind of range.
All right, Nico-san, how about you?
I'm gonna say a gentleman 64.
Well, you're both wrong.
Hmm.
Critics got this one at a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience is sitting at a slightly higher 32%. Harsh all around. Why don't you guys go ahead, give me what you think about this movie and just what your score is. And I wonder who's going to lead us on this final chud. Nico, would you do the honors?
It would be my pleasure to be your final chud, Justin and Dan.
Go ahead.
It's what I've always dreamt of. I think this movie has a ton of heart. I think it shows in pretty much every scene, really. There's not really too many weak parts of this. Having said that, there are some things that are just honestly kind of fucking goofy. Like the scene in the bathtub, or not bathtub, the shower, where suddenly Lauren is just getting shot with the ketchup cannons or some shit, and they never fucking come back to that, which is, I think, a very clear plot hole they meant to address or just fucking forgot about. But anyway, I liked this movie a lot more than I was thinking I was ever going to, but I don't know, 74.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Dan, me or you?
I'll go. I thought this movie was a little rough around the edges and definitely had sort of the B movie aesthetic to it. But I thought it was entertaining and it was a good watch. I just didn't think there's any standout parts to it or anything that really draws me to watching this or anything. But I thought it was all right. I'm going to give it a 68.
Nico, I'm actually right up there with you. I thought this movie definitely had a lot of heart. I think for whatever it's worth, it's pretty original. I definitely think there are parts that could be improved upon. I definitely think there's things that could have done better. But I honestly think a 29 is such a harsh grade to give it. I'm right there with a 73, to be honest.
We've seen a lot worse on this podcast.
Yes. We've seen so much worse. The acting in this was also really good too. So you couldn't really take away from that, So I definitely like it. And kind of real quick, I forgot to say this. What's y'all's favorite scene in the movie?
I think my favorite scene is probably just when Lauren chops off the chud's head.
It's got to be that.
Because I thought that was entertaining. Maybe not necessarily quite the effect the director wanted to have, but I thought it was entertaining, and I wasn't really expecting her to chop its head off. So, yeah.
Wasn't that also one of the scenes where they had the real fucking cheesy sound effects that didn't age well? The fucking pops whenever cutting the head off or something.
Maybe, I don't remember.
Now, Nico, I know you said that's your favorite. We accept this. Any other scenes that stood out to you?
I love the charisma between AJ and Bosch, and I think that their interactions at the beginning of the movie, and in particular the scene where he tells him about his wife going missing, was just particularly compelling.
Definitely true. I kind of have two. One of them is after the meeting with kind of the government people, AJ leaves and he's kind of pissed. And he puts in a quarter into a payphone to make a phone call. Some government agent walks up, cancels the call so the quarter comes back out. And then he fucking eats his quarter. So he can't make another phone call. And I'm
stares him down
bro,
and
what?
Smiles.
Why would you do that? That doesn't make any fucking sense. And then I guess my second favorite scene is when the chuds are all just kind of standing around by nuclear waste. And then AJ kind of sneaks around the corner. Is it AJ or George? I think it's AJ, yeah?
AJ, yeah.
Yeah, he sneaks around the corner and then he accidentally kicks over a bunch of rocks and the chuds are oh, what the fuck? And then he just kind of sneaks back around the corner real quick.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, what kind of video game logic is this, my guy?
He passed his stealth check.
He pretty much did. But that pretty much wraps it up. So I think it's time for us to put our coins on the table here and let's say what we really mean. So does this movie get a recommendation from you guys? Would you recommend this movie to someone?
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. But I'm also going to be a hypocrite because I think when I go into work tomorrow, I'm going to recommend it to one of my coworkers.
Oh,
But
word?
that's partially because I know his aesthetic that he likes,
Mm.
and I think this would fit in. But I think for most everyone else, I wouldn't particularly recommend it because I think there's plenty of other movies out there that I'd recommend ahead of this one. This wasn't bad, but I don't know.
Well, that kind of cancels it right there. You know, there's really nothing else much to say. I would have recommended it for the record. I would have put this one up to the crew. Now, any last words? Anything you guys want to get off your chest before we wrap this one up?
Yeah. When I was watching Us in theaters, spoilers for the first thing you see there is a shot of a bookshelf with chud on it.
Mhm.
And I thought that I was being pranked in my theater. Like my individual theater was just showing chud instead of Us. And I
Nice.
thought just why? I was looking forward to this Jordan Peele experience. And now it's just, why?
No, I actually saw that. I think Chud was an inspiration for Jordan.
Oh,
from
totally.
Jordan Peele, so,
Absolutely. It
yeah.
was.
I know that Chud has actually had influence on a bunch of different movies have drawn from the aesthetic or the setting of Chud. So I definitely see that. But if you want to reach out to us and let us know that we're so right or we're so wrong, or if any Chuds out there want to call in, you can
Don't.
reach us on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram at DOTD Horror. We're also on Facebook at Don't Open That Door. Plus, you can check out this and everything else we've done on our website. That's dotdhorror.com. But till then, keep yourself safe. Don't forget to take a shower. And as always, dear listener, don't open that door. Bye.